Hello, everybody. So let's start our unit of study for Chapter 9, Lesson 9.1. We are on page 367 of the third grade textbook. And again, the topic is problem solving, compare fractions. The essential question that should be able to be answered by the end of our lesson is how can you use this strategy acted out to solve comparison problems? All right. So in the remember box, before we look at the unlock the problem, this symbol means less than, so the point of the symbol points at the smaller number. This symbol is greater than, the opening goes towards the larger number, and again the point is pointing at the smaller number. And then the two horizontal lines is equal to. So unlock the problem. Mary and Vincent climbed up a rock wall at the park. Mary climbed 3/4 of the way up the wall. Vincent climbed 3/8 of the way up the wall. Who climbed higher? All right, so our pieces of information we have are Mary climbed 3/4, Vincent climbed 3/8, and we have to find out who climbed higher. So you can act out the problem by using manipulatives to help you compare fractions. Okay, so what do I need to find? I need to find who climbed higher. Mary climbed 3/4 of the way, and Vincent climbed 3/8 of the way. I can use fraction tiles and compare the lengths of the models to find out who climbed higher. Okay? And so record the steps you use to solve the problem. So here we see one hole. Then we have 3/4. Okay, so 3/4 is smaller than one hole. And then we have 3/8. And we notice by looking at this that the 3/8 are smaller than the 3/4. So compare the lengths. So 3/4 compared to 3/8. Okay, so if we just look at the length of the fraction tiles, we notice that 3/4 is longer. Okay, so the opening's towards a larger number. The length of the 3/4 model is longer than the length of the 3/8 model. So who climbed higher? So who climbed 3/4? Mary climbed 3/4. Okay, all right. Now let's try another problem. Students at a day camp are decorating paper circles for placemats. Tracy finished 3/6 of her placemat. Kim finished 5/6. Who finished more of her placemat? What do I need to find? I need to find out who finished more of her placemat. What information do I need? Well, Tracy finished 3/6. Kim finished 5/6. How will I use the information? I can use fraction tiles to compare the lengths. All right, so I can use fraction tiles to compare the lengths of the models to see who finished more of the placemat. All right, so if we have one hole, right, I'm just going to work this out, okay, show you, and then I'm going to draw a short model. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kim finished 5/6 of her model. So it's not quite one hole, right? Now, so let's do this. So let's draw the one hole. Okay. We'll call that one hole. All right. And then 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, 5/6. That's a little too long. Sorry about that. Okay. So this would be Kim's. She completed 5/6. And Tracy completed 1/3/6. So she finished about half of it, right? Half of a hole. All right. So if we compare them, who completed more? Well, three sixths compared to 5/6. 3/6 is smaller. So again, our question was who finished more of their placemat? 5/6 is more, so Kim finished more of her placemat. How did your model help you solve the problem? Well, we can just visually look at this and see that 5/6 is longer. All right, 2. Tracy and Kim each had a carton of milk with lunch. Tracy drank 5/8 of her milk. Kim drank 7/8 of her milk. Who drank more of their milk? Okay, so let's say that's our one hole. So in this one hole, there's going to be eighth size pieces. 1/8, 2/8. Let's see, Tracy drank 5/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8. Okay, Kim drank 7/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. So Tracy drank 5/8. Kim drank 7/8. Looking at our model, the 7/8 are more than the 5/8. So Kim drank more of her milk. The 7/8 model is longer than the 5/8 model. Okay, number 1 on page 369. At the park, people can climb a rope ladder to its top. Rosa climbed 2/8 of the way. Justin climbed 2/6 of the way up the ladder. Who climbed higher on the rope ladder? Okay, what are we asked to find? Who climbed higher on the rope ladder? Okay, we're going to model and compare the fractions. So again, let's see. We have our kind of our benchmark of 1, and we have 2/8. 2/8 compared to 2/6. Okay, so let's look at that. Just visually looking at the model, which one is longer? The 2/6 or the 2/8? The 2/6 is longer. Okay, so 2/8 compared to 2/6. 2/8 is less than 2/6. We put 2/8 together and we put 2/6 together, we notice that the 2/6 is longer. Okay, so that means it's greater. So, who climbed higher? Justin climbed higher. What if Kara also tried the rope ladder and climbed 2/4 of the way up? Who climbed the highest on the rope ladder? Rosa, Justin, or Kara? And explain how you know. Okay, so let's go back to this. So we have 2/8 compared to 2/6, which we already know that the 2/6 was bigger than the 2/8. And then we're going to compare 2/4. Okay, so which one is higher up? The longer fractions, right? So the 2/4 is further. So Kara, because the 2/4 model is longer than 2/8 and 2/6. All right, use concrete model. Ted walked 2/3 of a mile to the soccer game. Then he walked a third mile to his friend's house. Which distance is shorter? Well, so it says he walked 2/3 mile to his soccer game. Then he walked a third of a mile to his friend's house. Which distance is shorter? Well, they're all thirds, right? This one's clearly, when I look at the length of the models, the 2/3 is much longer than the 1/3. So the 1/3 is shorter than 2/3. So if we were drawing a model ourselves, we can compare it again to 1. Maybe this is 1/3 and 2/3 compared to 1/3. Okay, that's what our fraction tiles were showing us. So 1/3 mile is shorter. and you compare the lengths of the models, one-third is less than two-thirds. So just looking at this, one-third is shorter than the two-thirds. 370. Number 4. Use the table for 4 and 5. So let's see if we understand the table. So these are Surrey's biscuits and jam flavor. So we have 3 different types of jam, and this is the fraction of the biscuits that are going to get that type of jam. 3 out of the 8 biscuits will get peach, 4 out of the 8 will get raspberry, and 1 out of 8 will get strawberry. All right, so Surrey is spreading jam on 8 biscuits for breakfast. The table shows the fraction of biscuits spread with each jam flavor. Which flavor did Surrey use on the most biscuits? Which flavor? So let's compare. Okay, let's start with the 3/8 compared to the 4/8. All right, so when we compare those, which one's greater? The 4/8, right? Okay, so the 4/8 is longer, so that's bigger than the 1/8. And then the last one was just 1/8. Well, again, the 4/8 is still longer. So the longest was raspberry. If we wanted to draw the picture to prove that, 1/8. Okay, so that's the raspberry. Peach was 1/8, 3/8, I'm sorry, and then strawberry was just 1/8. So raspberry is clearly the longest model. The answer is strawberry. Well, let's look at this. Well, it could be a question that strawberry would be the answer to. Which flavor of jam was used on the least number of biscuits? For the least biscuits. Okay, so basically the opposite. All right, number 6. Suppose Surrey also used plum jam on the biscuits. She frosted half of the biscuits with peach jam, 1/4 with raspberry, 1/8 with strawberry, and 1/8 with plum jam. Which flavor did Surrey use on the most biscuits? Well, okay, so half with peach, 1/4 with raspberry, and then the 1/8 with the strawberry and the plum. Well, again, visually looking at that, the half's much longer. Okay, so call that a half, call that a fourth. All right, so the half was peach, the fourth was raspberry, and then we have the 1/8 being strawberry and plum. All right, which flavor did she use on the most biscuits? Peach. Was used on the most biscuits. All right, Ms. Gordon has many snack bar recipes. One recipe uses 1/3 cup of oatmeal and a half cup of flour. Will Miss Gordon use more oatmeal or more flour? And explain. So if we want to visually look at that, we have a 1/3 cup of oatmeal and we have a half cup of flour. Which one's longer? The half cup of flour, but the half fraction tile. So she's going to use more flour. So we can draw that again. That's kind of what the fraction tiles looked like. Okay. Half was longer than the flour. One half model is longer than the 1/3 model. Okay. And number 8. Rick lives 4/6 mile from school. Noah lives 3/6 mile from school. Use the fractions and symbols to show which distance is longer. So 4/6 mile and 3/6 mile. So let's draw. They're all sixths. So 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6. So that's Rick. Rick is 4/6 mile from school, and Noah is 3/6. 1, 2, 3. All right. So which distance is longer? Well, looking at the model, the 4/6 is longer than the 3/6. So 3/6, sorry, 4/6 was our first fraction, is greater than 3/6. Is that the only way to do this problem? Technically, it's not. I could also write 3/6 is less than 4/6. Okay, that's true too. Okay, all we did was switch the sides and change the symbol. Okay. All right, so that's it for comparing fractions using concrete models. In our next lesson, we're going to compare fractions with the same denominator, okay, and start to notice a pattern with those types of fractions. So until then, may the numbers always be in your favor.